Namaste, Jai Bharat. Last year, around this time, terrorists from Pakistan, those had sneaked into Bharat well in time, had found that security forces were not nearby and caught hold of some tourists who had been seeing Kashmir, because Kashmir terrorism threat is contained, so the tourism increased in Kashmir and people were going. They were caught and then they were asked their religion and then killed. That too, the men were killed. Women were spared, saying that you go and tell your prime minister. That kind of hatred they have to all Hindus, especially to an archetype Hindu who is my prime minister. Actually, this gives us courage to continue to be strong Hindus just by virtue of seeing him is functioning. That was the Pahalgam terror attack. And then at once Pakistan would say we have nothing to do with terrorist organizations, and they would say that these attacks were carried out by terrorists maybe, but within Bharat, Kashmiri terrorists, and Pakistan washes their hands clean. Like Pilate who washes his hands. On and on. Pakistan, of course, is not conscientious, half conscientious, or a fraction of conscientious like Pilate. Anyway, this thing happened, and Pakistan keeps saying that they really have nothing to do with these kind of attacks. Fine. But then subsequently, the Operation Sindhu took place, and Pakistan was thrashed in capital letters. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, but they kept denying. They are continuously in the denial, let me know. Now, one of the terrorists of Jaish-e-Mohammed, just missed his name, comes and boasts himself that we have done great things. We killed Hindus, slitting the throats of Hindus. We have done it. Then he openly says, we, the terrorists, along with the Pakistan army, with the support along with the Pakistan army, had carried out the Pahalgam attack, and also subsequently acknowledges many such attacks they carried out within Bharat with the explicit support of the army, and many times the army men themselves were in disguise as terrorists, which we have already told. Now this is a kind of confession. When Pakistan officially continued to be on the denial, and this terrorist out of his blunt emotion comes forward and boasts himself of slitting the throats of the Hindus. And that comes right after Khwaja Asif's curse on Israel that you will be in hell, etc., etc. This maybe comes forward. What more you need? Actually, everyone understands that. Everyone is supposed to know that Pakistan is a terrorist state until and unless someone wants to use Pakistan for some of their whatever ends. This comes as a confession. Take it as a confession, they say, but doesn't make any difference to anyone, because everyone knows that Pakistan is a terrorist state. Wonderful for Pakistan that these people can reach nowhere because of the kind of administrational structural problem within them, that they have multiple ruling structures. Now look at Iran. Now there are different authorities coexisting. Iran, at least they coexist. They don't contradict and conflict often. But in case of Pakistan, the authorities are more rooted in the sense that they say namesake democracy, because they wanted that namesake democracy to show the world that they are democratic, so that somebody could talk to somebody. Though talking is absolutely going to make no sense. Then the army, actually the army determines everything and controls everything, but at the same time, the kind of authority that the army carries out, they are absolutely not diplomatic. Army is not statesmen necessarily. They might have been great generals who were great statesmen, that's different. But per se, army, they are not trained to rule. They're trained for something else. They're trained for various other reasons, and well trained, of course. I myself was a soldier, so I understand it. But to be a statesman is entirely different. So when army acts as statesman, there will be contradictions within, and lacunae and problems. And the army is one kind of administration who are actually apparently the authority in Pakistan who decide things. And then comes the other estate of Pakistani rule structure. That's the religious clergy, the clergy kind of people, the mullahs, what we say. They have a kind of authority which is playing in a different level, and their authority is also authority which is not deniable. That's a problem, which is not deniable by someone who believes in the given religion. Then another estate, the fourth estate, is the terrorists. Actually, the terrorists do a lot of things. They are not authority, but then they do a lot of things, and they don't listen to anyone else. They have their own ways, and they continue doing it. So long as this much a multiple structure of authority stays in Pakistan, how on earth can they progress? How on earth that they can improve? And how on earth anyone can live sensibly as a human being in Pakistan? That's a problem. Their problem was they separated themselves from Bharat, not because we have asked the Muslims to go away from Bharat. We have more Muslims living in my nation than the total population of Muslims in Pakistan. And you ask those Muslims living in Bharat, vast majority of them are comfortable and happy that they coexist with the Hindus. There is always a fraction who are under the influence of Pakistani propaganda, or who are under the influence of radical Islam, who would not agree to this, who would want again that beautiful state of Islamic society, because they don't know what is Islamic society when it is functional. This is the situation in Pakistan, and they can't improve. Given this structure, they are permanently doomed, and miserable is a small word for that. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.